Paul, I mean, a 3-0 victory. Happy with that?
Well, a 3-1 at the one.
A 3-1 victory. Yeah, okay, yeah. Forgot about
that. Happy. You know, you just got to win a game, put it to bed, and then go on to the next one. So I do think we could play better at times, but then in fairness, when you've got a lead, the opposition just have to keep coming at you. They've got nothing to lose, and sort of mostly what they asked of us, I thought we had pretty good answers. We'd had just got a bit more control midway through the second half, where I just felt we just needed to take an extra pass and just stay on the ball a bit, and then we got the goals at good times. There's no bad times, but so I'm pleased for the lads. I think they worked really hard today. I think, in fairness to Crew, they're younger, possibly fitter, that kills me to say, but they're mobile and stretch us and ask questions at times. But the lads hung in there, and come the end of the season, there'll hopefully be 3 big points.
I've spoken a few times to you about fast starts, and you could have been 1-0 up within about the first 5 minutes. The ball, quite a melee, and obviously that didn't happen. But then it's not an early goal, but it's still.
Yeah, the lads started the game really well. We could have scored off a set piece. It worked a treat. Pato had a clear header from a few yards out, and I was expecting the net to rip, and then obviously it came to Marv, but wasn't to be. But I was really pleased with the midfielders today. They, 2 of them got a goal, deservedly so. So in that respect, I thought we were good, and I thought really sometimes in games you get the control or the glamour possibly. In other games you just it's a bit more dogged. That's the truth. And I thought today our doggedness was literally highlighted by John Mellish. I thought he was outstanding, up and down the wing all the time, winning tackles, breaking up play. And it's nice to not highlight the goal scorers, the obvious ones. I think the ones that go below the radar, and I thought he was our best player today.
I mean, Will Collar, as by his own admission, wants to score more goals. He obviously scored a couple of weeks ago. He got 1, and Alex Gilby's now got 6 for the season. So that those 2 who kind of obviously sit behind the more front players, if you like.
Them are 2 8s, and they have a lot of work to do, obviously, and they've got quarterback Kells behind them, but there is a responsibility for them to let their pegs go, and it was from a throw-in that he released off the edge of the box, and in fairness to Marvellous Marv, he set him up a treat. I thought it was fluky, and then I watched it back, I thought actually he's played that. But I always ask the lads to pull the trigger, especially when his body's in front of me, you don't know what's going to happen. So really pleased for Will. I think he's been, as the team have, been growing nicely as the season's progressed.
Do you have nicknames for everyone like that?
Some that aren't so great, but Marvellous Marv, it just rolls off your tongue and doesn't it?
Quarterback Kel,
yeah. There's a few nicknames knocking about, but I've gone for the non-blue ones early on, so which is good.
And no mugs today, obviously, so that's...
No mugs, so the Warne pension fund rolls on another week, which is always a positive. It's took a hit early on, but really pleased, and I think, I believe it's got us up to second. There's been some crazy results today, and I think if anything sums up the league, if you look today there's been sendings off, a lot, it seems like, in our league. There's been a lot of freak results, and I just think anyone can beat anyone on their day. So for us to go on this little mini run is great, and I do think we can play better, but maybe I'm an optimist or a purist, or I chase the unicorns. But at the end of the day, we win. This game's done, and we move on to the next one. I don't think we've got any injury concerns. Although I say that every week, and then Monday I get a phone call. But generally, but I'm pleased for the lads because it was a lot of work today.
Yeah, I mean, before the Shrewsbury game, I think 14th, 15th, and 4 wins has taken you to second. I mean, it's still relatively early days, so that can happen. But it does show that you can drive up the league pretty quickly. Yeah,
definitely. And unfortunately, you don't get promoted in October. You just got to keep going. But I think the system suits the lads a little bit. They look a little bit more assured, and the lads who have found themselves out of the team through injury or bad form are now brushing at my door to try and get back in. But I think we're performing at a pretty reasonable level to create enough chances to win. And even 4 or 5 weeks ago, as you know, because you speak to me quite a lot, I wasn't stressed out. I just think that we'll get there eventually, and it takes time. We've had a lot of change in the staff and players, and by all means I don't think we're sussed, but I do think we look pretty strong in most of the games, and the last 4 that we've won, I think we've been more than handsome for the win, which is great news.
How many opportunities is it going to take Aaron Domain before he shoots? I mean, I know he set up the goal, but he must have had about 14 before, and he still didn't shoot.
It was weird, wasn't it? Because we had one early on with Pato down on his left. I think just pull the trigger already. That's the best part of football, shooting. And when Aaron got clean through, like shoot, and then he didn't, and he pulled it back to Stephen Gerrard, who bent one in bottom corner. Which, if you've got to pull it back to anyone. And when he pulled it back, I'm thinking, why does he pull? Yes! Because it was like the furthest one away from the goal. But in fairness to Aaron hurt his neck first half, or his shoulder, so he couldn't turn his head. So that was like, forced upon us. So, and then obviously to get Joe back on the pitch is good.
I mean, obviously when you came in and throughout, I think, you've preferred the 4-3-3, but as you alluded to a couple of minutes ago, the team kind of maybe, does it lend itself a bit, or because you've got Aaron Domain playing well, maybe he wasn't someone who was an obvious starter, and Jack Sanders, and you've got quite a lot of defenders in a way that are all quite in form.
Well, I think it's not so bad away from home. I do feel like at times at home the pitch is monstrous. So with 3 centre halves, you do look a bit more secure. You can get pulled about a bit with 4. I mean, in fairness, they played with 4 today, and at times I felt like we could comfortably get up the pitch. So yeah, you're probably right. I mean, Aaron's been amazing, as has John, and you've still got Geth, Joe, Kane. They're also very good athletes and very good wing backs. And it also lends quite nicely to sort of having 2 up at times, which I absolutely buzz off since I was born in the 70s. So yeah, it's working at the moment. However, the next game might not need that. The next game might need a 4-3-3, and I've got people like Rush and that desperate to get back in the team. So, but it is about picking a system that's got to win games. It isn't about like my ego or my coach's ego. It's about like how do we think we're going to win this game? Which shape suits us the best, with who's in form, who's available, and what the opposition do. And fortunately, in the last few weeks, our system and the lads' performances have contributed to wins, which is great.
Last year, when MK Dons went up to, I think it was 3rd, the manager at the time said that MK Dons were the biggest team in the league, and I think we're there to be shot at because of stuff like that. How do you kind of, not temper expectation, but kind of stay there, I suppose, is the blunt way of putting it?
Yeah, good question. I don't think, I'm not throwing, and the lads know this, I'm not throwing petals at their feet or anything like that. I hardly said anything post-match. I watched the game back and, as always, talk about the things we don't like and the things we do like. So there's no way my teams ever get carried away with themselves or have arrogance, and if I see it in my team, I just cut it out. That's absolutely fine. So I don't think that. I don't think that necessarily we're the team to get at. I think there's loads of teams who are on similar journeys and similar platforms, really. The thing that we have here is that we have an amazing stadium. So people turn up and like, wow, we've got an amazing stadium, but the stadium doesn't put it in the net for us. The stadium doesn't clear it off the line. The stadium doesn't run up and down the wings. So that's what we have got going for us, but we have got a really good group of lads and experienced staff, and we are looking in good nick. But I'm also more than long enough in the tooth to realise football's got an awful way of booting you in the face. So, like, we're in good nick now. Next interview I go, like, I don't know what went wrong. I didn't see a 6-0 drumming coming. So if you look at the results today, loads of the managers of those teams wouldn't have seen that coming. So it's just about trying to be consistent with performance, try and be consistent with the messaging for the lads, and try and keep as best you can. It isn't easy at times. The ones out of the team, the ones coming back, always trying to keep them involved and motivated. And they're the sort of difficulties that lay ahead as the winter comes. And in fairness, it does turn into a little bit of winter football, but over Christmas and that's when you really see the colours of your team. You have quick succession of games, and fortunately for us, with an older team, we haven't had that yet. So we've been lucky in that respect with the fixtures. So there's a lot of good things to be pleased about, but there's still a lot of things we need to get better at.
It's ages till you're back here, actually, isn't it? You've got a run of away games, I think, before, certainly in the league. Salford in nearly a month's time, so a little bit of a run on the road. Yeah.
Wowzer. Okay, well, we've been okay on the road. I've got it doesn't make any difference to me personally where we play, as long as my lads perform and win games, it'd be great. And yeah, if we've got a few journeys, then we'll have to try and pick up points and bring them back to the fans.
Thank you.
No worries.
What's there left to say about Alex Gilbey? He's chipping in with the goals and leading by example in that midfield at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, he's ever since I've been in the building, he's been a great captain. Obviously took over from Louis, but He leads in training, he leads in the dressing room, and he leads on the pitch, so I can't ask for any more. The only downside is he's on 4 bookings, so I took him off just for that, really. I didn't want him to get another booking, so that's a problem. But, you know, certain personalities are, you know, stick out, that's the truth, and his does. And I'm really pleased for him to get a brace, but the way he trains and the way he wants to win, it doesn't surprise me. He's excellent at everything he does, and yeah, so as days go, like, he's had a cracker.
I mean, he was a little bit annoyed last week that he wasn't given credit for that first one. He felt should have had a brace last week as well.
I mean, if he would have got that must have had a lot of bend on it. I mean, a lot. I mean, we're talking.
I think you
like,
and me could probably have claimed it. If he's claimed
that's boomerang stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's like I could have claimed that I had a bit of aura on it. So I just don't get the whole taking goals off people. I don't.
Surely you want to give it to the attacking player,
well,
right?
no defender goes, yeah, I'll take it. I think if it's 50-50, always go with the striker.
Yeah,
He wants to be that guy. So in fairness to Gilbs, he straight away went, well, mine's been taken off, and we've still got 2 pictures of Mags up, whereas Mags has his taken off as well, I think.
Yeah, I spotted that when I came down here.
Yeah, so I have to address that massive admin error. But yeah, really pleased for the captain. But I thought all 3 midfield and company were down when he came on, and Kane were excellent, and it's a big driving force of how we want to play.
As Paul mentioned, they're up into second spot. I mean, that's where you've set out to be, isn't it? And staying in there this season.
Yeah. I mean, you want to make you want to go up. You want to be in the top, 6 to give yourself a chance. If you're in the top 8 or 10, come the turn of the year, you're still in a good nick. And to be there now is good in the fact of we're in good form, but obviously it doesn't count for anything. If I showed you the league table who were first and second this time last year, they probably neither went up. So I'm well aware of form is temporary and all that sort of malarkey, but we're in a good place. Obviously, we've got lads coming back. I think we're only 2-3 weeks away from Aaron coming back. Geoff's sort of getting close as well. So Scotty Hogan as well. So we're going to have other managerial decisions as we go on. But really pleased with where we're at, and everyone at the football club should take great credit for that.
Disappointing with the goal at the end though. Just does it take a little bit of shine off, or is it just one of them that's it's so deep into stoppage time it doesn't really make a difference?
I'm not best happy with it. But then I wouldn't be, would I? I don't like us conceding set pieces. I think if you're the best team at not conceding set pieces, and you're the best team at scoring set pieces, you've got a good chance of averaging 2 points a game. So I am disappointed. I'm disappointed for the goalkeeper. I mean, I know he's playing with a bit of an injury near the end there, but
it took a big whack off. Marvin,
it isn't sort of a goal that I would like to have our fingerprints on. So I am disappointed with the late goal, although we won. However, on another day, that could be 1-0, and that could be the equalising goal, and you've lost 2 points. So it's a good learning curve for us that you ever think, at any time you've got it sussed, you haven't. Football is cruel at times and will punch you in the face. So we got a bit of a jab today, but we'd already won, so it's not forgivable, but at least it's educational.
And a win at home. I mean, we were talking a few weeks ago about it being a little bit of a monkey on the back. You've got 2 in the win, 2 in a row. We don't really have to talk about it anymore, right?
Yeah, no, unless we go on a run of never winning again at home, then we can readdress the question. But no,
it kicks a can down the road for a couple of months, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got a good. Yeah, no, we haven't we?
Really has.
Yeah, that's great news, isn't it? Yeah, so I won't have to answer that question. I think, in fairness, apart from a couple of the home games, I still liked us. Weirdly, although I know we were poor for parts, I didn't dislike us against Walsall. I thought we were great. I thought we were honking against Aki. I didn't dislike us when we went down to 10 men against Grimsby. The lads give everything, and nearly, with the Jack Sanders overhead kick, nearly nicked a draw. So I don't think our home performances have been as good as I would like, but also not as poor as maybe the results show. So, were we 3-1 better than them today? Probably, yeah, on chances created. So, and on other games, we probably the score line's probably been not as reflective as possible. But home form's in good nick. The fans seem to enjoy themselves. New club shop. Everyone's a winner.